Hello and welcome. My name is Imran Siraj and I am Assistant Professor in Mechanical Department at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. My college is associated with Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak. We do follow MDU syllabus in our college. In MDU syllabus in mechanical second year, we have a subject known as we have a subject known as strength of material. So strength of material is studied in mechanical second year, and this subject is how do materials behave when they are loaded. Strength of material is basically subject that associates all the complications and details when the material is under loading conditions. So loading, that means that material is a force or a pressure is applied on the material, and how does the material behave is all about this the material. What are the properties that are changed during this? What are the other parameters like shape and size and stress and strain? What are the other parameters that are associated with the application of pressure or application of force is dealt in the under the SOM, strength of material. So in strength of material, we will be having we'll be having okay. So first of all, we start from the stress. Stress is basically the way a material responds to the external forces. Stress is basically the internal reaction of the material when it is subjected to a force or a load. So when a pressure is applied or a force is applied on the material, by virtue an equal and opposite reaction is developed from within the material, and this is known as stress. So stress is the response to the external force or response to the external parameters that are trying to change the properties of the metal or material. So it is defined as the intensity or magnitude of an internal resisting force developed on any point in the given loading conditions. So it is the response of the material. Stress is the response of the material that is developed by the virtue of the material when it is subjected to pressure or load. Stress is defined by pressure per unit area, pressure or force per unit area. So when we apply a pressure of 10 kilogram force on an area of 1 meter square, the stress will be 10 kgf per meter square. So this is the definition and explanation of the stress. So we must also know the difference between pressure and stress, because it is very complicated thing and there is minute differences. There are minute differences between pressure and stresses. So we must know the differences between pressure and stresses. What are the differences? Six. We do have six main differences between pressure and stress. So pressure is, as I told, is an external thing or is applied on a material. So the magnitude of external force applied at a point is known as pressure, whereas stress is the reaction or internal response to the material is known as stress. So first difference is that pressure is an external mounting or external factor that tries to change the shape or size of a body or material, whereas stress is response because of the virtue or characteristic of the material it responds, it is known as stress. Stress, as I told, is known as is taken unit per pressure per unit area. So it is taken in P by A. Second difference is that pressure always acts normal to the surface of the material. So pressure is always applied perpendicular to the surface of the material, whereas strain could either be perpendicular or parallel to the surface. It is not necessity. It is not necessarily that the stress is perpendicular to the surface. It could be perpendicular or parallel. Then third point is that magnitude of pressure at a point, the magnitude of the pressure distributes in all the direction. That means it is equally distributed in all the directions. When we apply pressure at a point, it is uniformly distributed in all the directions, whereas the stress is not uniformly distributed. It could be unidirectional or bidirectional or tridirectional, but it is not uniformly distributed because it is the response of the material to the external behavior, external pressure or external force. So it is not uniformly distributed. The fourth difference is that pressure is responsible for development of stress. When we apply pressure on a material, stress is developed, but stress is not capable of developing pressure. Stress is a reaction, so first there must be an action, and action is the pressure, whereas stress is the reaction, so it comes later, and one one first is responsible for the second, but second cannot generate first. That is, that stress is not capable of developing pressure on a material. Fifth point is that pressure can be measured, but stress cannot be measured. There is a uh, technique of measuring pressure, but that of measuring stress, but that is not directly. Stress cannot be directly measured, and strain is measured. Strain is due to stress, and strain is change in ratio between change in length and original length. So strain is measured by the help of strain gauge, and stress cannot be measured, whereas pressure is measured by pressure gauge. Last difference, sixth difference is pressure is scalar quantity and stress and strain are vector tensor quantity. Sorry, tensor quantity, not neither scalar nor vector tensor quantity, and it it is not the scalar quantity as the pressure. Second is, after knowing difference between pressure and stress, we must be knowing the stress strain diagram. What is stress strain diagram? So when the pressure is basically, material are divided into two types. One are ductile type, another are brittle type. Ductile type materials are that when their pressure is applied on them, they extends in the direction of pressure. For example, we are applying tensile pressure, we are applying tensile force. So the material will expand alongside the length. And if we are compressing a material, if we are applying pressure from both the sides, it will tend to compress. So this material behaves well if the material is capable, is the material behave capable of expanding along the length, it is known as ductile material. And if we apply tensile force on a metal and it instantly breaks, that material is known as brittle material. So first we will draw stress versus strain diagram for ductile material. Actually, this stress versus strain diagram is very important as far as application of pressure and development of stress and strains are concerned. So before doing anything, we have to study. Before going deep into the material, we have to study the stress versus strain diagram for ductile material and brittle material. So when we apply pressure, at the same time stress is developed and simultaneously strain is also developed, because as I told, when we try to apply a pressure or tensile force, the material is expanded. So this is known as stress and is sorry strain. The strain is, as I told, is change in length divided by original length. Ratio to the change in length divided by original length is known as stress. So if we draw stress versus strain diagram of a ductile material, the strain is taken on the horizontal axis, whereas stress is taken on the vertical axis. And we will see that initially at the origin, at the O point, there is zero force, no force, and no force and no pressure, hence no stress at all. We start applying pressure gradually. So when we start applying pressure, the stress starts increasing. At the same time, the material undergoes the changes, shape changes and linear changes. So it also develops strain. So when the pressure is applied, the material undergoes changes in stresses as well as strain. So we can see that stress start going directly proportional when the stress is generated, strain is also generated in the same proportion up to a certain limit, up to this point A. This point A. Up to this point A, the line between O and A has a inclination of about 45 degree. That means line OA represents that stress is directly proportional to the strain. Stress is directly proportional to the strain. This behavior remains same all through the line, and at point A, this behavior starts changing. So point A is known as limit of proportionality. Limit of proportionality, that means stress is directly proportional to the strain. So at the point A, the stress remains directly proportional to the strain, and this is known as Hooke's law. Hooke's law states that under normal conditions, the stress is directly proportional to the strain. For a ductile material or rigid material, the stress is directly proportional to the strain. So up to point A, the stress is directly proportional to the strain. Then after A point, the line will not be as straight as it used to be. After A, the nature of the graph changes and it is a mix of line and curve. So it is slightly rotated and slightly part of curve from A to B. From A to B. Up to this point B, the B point is known as elastic limit. This is the point at which the behavior of the material changed drastically. Up till point B, it was behaving elastically. That means stress was directly proportional to the strain. At the same time, elastic limit means elasticity. Before knowing elastic limit, we must know the elasticity. Elasticity of the material means that if we remove the force, if we apply the force, the material undergoes a change alongside the length or cross-sectional area. But when the load or pressure is removed, it regains its original position. That is known as elasticity. Elasticity means when we apply the pressure, the material undergoes the change, and when we remove the pressure, it regains its original position. So it regains its original shape. So at the elastic limit, up to elastic limit, we do know, yeah, we can say that this is the point B at which when we remove the load, it regains its original position. So from 0 to A, it is the limit of proportionality, and from 0 to B, A to B, it is B point is elastic limit. So material behaves elastically 0 to B, and material follows Hooke's law up to O to A. Okay, so this region from O up till point B is known as elastic region. This region from O to point B is known as elastic region, because all through this line O to B, the material behaves elastically. That means up till B, when the load is removed, it regains its original position. Now, come to the next point. The next part of the graph is like a semicircle or quarter circle. That means from point B, if we start increasing the pressure, that means stress will start increasing up till point C. It will start increasing up till point C, that is known as upper yield point. Upper yield point is the point up till which the stress has been constantly increasing, and at point C, the nature of the stress reversed, and from the point C, stress starts decreasing, and C point is known as upper yield point. Okay, so we are again applying pressure, and because of this pressure, increased pressure, stress up till point C has been directly proportional to the pressure. Now stress has reversed, and stress is declining, although the strain is constantly increasing. You can see the alongside the x, stress is constantly increasing, stress is constantly increasing, decreasing, sorry, stress is constantly decreasing up till point D. D is the point that has lowest stress on the stress strain graph. D point has the lowest stress, and this D point is known as lower yield point. Upper yield point is from where the nature of the curve changes and stress is dropped, whereas D point is the again the point on the curve where the stress now starts increasing, increasing up till point E. So E is the point that has basically highest stress on the graph. You can see has the highest point on the graph, and D is the lowest point of the stress. So D is known as lower yield point, C is known as upper yield point, and E is known as ultimate strength or ultimate stress. Ultimate strength or ultimate stress. Actually, this is the maximum stress that a material can bear, and after that, the nature of the material again start changing, and from D to E, the region is known as strain hardening. From D to E, the region is known as strain hardening. That means the material is changing, that stress is increasing according to a curve and up till this point, and then further stress is coming down till point F, and F is the fracture or failure. At point F, the material breaks. So that means from here, point O to point F, we have constantly being applied. We are constantly applying pressure, and the stress is the result up till point C. Then it is decreasing. Then we are again applying pressure. So up till point E, it has ultimate strength or ultimate stress. Then from point E to F, it starts decreasing, and this is called necking. That means point, we are again applying tensile stress. So we are applying pressure. So from point E onwards, the necking will start, and the cross section of the area will start reducing. So this is called necking, and up till point F, necking takes place, and at F, the fracture occurs or material is failed. So this was about stress versus strain diagram. So as I told that OB to B, O to B is elastic region, B to D is yielding region, B to E strain hardening, E to F necking. This is the explanation of all the regions that I have told earlier. Now we will talk now we will talk about the brittle material. We have seen that how the material behaves, how the material elastically behaves when the characteristic of the material is elastic. What is the response of an elastic material? Now we'll see what is the response of a brittle material. Brittle material, as I told, that when we apply too much pressure, it does not withstand, and since it can produce less stress, it has less strength, so it fails. This is known as brittle material. So we'll now draw a graph between stress and strain for brittle material. So we can see on the screen that strain again represented on the horizontal line, whereas stress is represented vertically. So initially we don't have any stress at O point or origin, we have zero pressure, so zero stress. Then we are increasing up to point A. That means point A is the same proportionality limit where the Hooke's law is followed well and material behaves very smartly and stress is directly proportional to the strain. Again, B is the elastic limit. At B point, the elasticity comes to an end, and up till B point, the material behaves elastically. That when the force is removed, it regains its original position or regains its original size. Then comes the F or fracture point. Since I told brittle material has very less strength, so it fractures at a earlier stage or an earlier point. So O, A, B, and F are the points that basically tell about origin point, Hooke's limit or proportionality limit. Then B point is the elastic limit, and F is the failure. Now, after explaining all these things, we are coming to the unit of strength or unit of stress. So, as I told, stress is synonymous with strength. Strength or uh, almost same thing, because if a material has strength, it would be able to develop stress. If it doesn't have strength, it won't be able to develop stress. As I told, that stress is the reaction to the external forces. So when we apply forces, pressure on a material, as a reaction, the material develops stress. And if it doesn't have strength, that material doesn't have enough strength, it won't be able to develop stress. So strength stress is synonymous to the strength, or we can say stress is directly related to the strength. So we'll be talking about unit of stress or strength. So unit of stress is Pascal, megapascal, gigapascal, micropascal, kilogram force per centimeter square in MKS system. 1 Pascal is given by 1 Newton per meter square. 1 Pascal is given by 1 Newton per meter square. That means if we apply 1 Newton force over the 1 meter square area, the stress developed will be 1 Pascal. Megapascal, as we know, that 10 power 6 is the mega, so it can be applied anywhere. So megapascal is 10 power 6 Newton per meter square. Megapascal is equal to 10 power 6 Newton per meter square. And again, if you see 1 meter is equal to 1000 millimeter. So if we are trying to convert Newton per meter square, so 1 megapascal will be equal to 1 Newton per meter square, because meter square is converted into 10 power 6 square. So 10 power 6 will cancel out, and 1 megapascal will be 1 Newton per meter square. Then again 10 power 9 megapascal or 9 Newton per meter square, and then 1 gigapascal is equal to 10 power 3 megapascal or Newton per millimeter square. 10 power 9 pascal or Newton per meter square. Okay, so after the defining the after defining the unit, we come to the elastic constant. What is elastic constant? As I told, Hooke's law states that stress is directly proportional to the strain. Within elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to the strain. So when the stress is directly proportional to the strain, and if we want to keep these two in equation form, that if we want to equate both these quantities, stress and strain, we will have to replace the proportionality sign with an equal sign. And when this equal sign is replaced in proportionality sign, we see that it is replaced equal to multiplied by some constant, equal to multiplied by some constant.